I am going to be talking today a bit about the courage of being real. And the reason that wow. Okay, let's try that again. I guess it helps not to have something running in the background. All right, so hi Jodi. I just wanted to let everybody know that I am. Hi, Jamie. Good to see you. I just want to get this notification up on Facebook. Just hold on one second. Unfortunately, I had two things running at the same time, which was unfortunate, but those things happen. So let me just get that done, and then we can. I had a computer glitch, which is causing all my delays at the moment. Okay, let's do that. And all right, for those of you who are new, just so that you know, this is the way that we do the broadcast. I normally start with doing news, views, and updates on the viewers because we're like an extended family and we want to keep it that way. And so if you've just come for the topic, and today's topic is the courage to be real, just look below in the notes below and you will see that from naught to this point is news, views, and updates. And then from that point onwards, it'll give a time. So just click on that time and you'll be able to get to where you want to go. And in fact, if I do a really good job of the edits, I'll be able to actually put a direct link in so you can go directly there. All right, there we go. So today's topic is going to be fun. But before we get there, I want to make sure that we acknowledge a couple of things. And the first thing is in terms of our hi Trip, welcome. In terms of our thoughts and prayers and people we're looking out for, first of all, good news from Erin, but keep your thoughts and prayers going for her. She heard this week that her tests came back in such a way that they're going to be cutting down her prednisone quite a bit. And that means that all the other things they were looking for were not evident. Yay. And so they now know what they're not dealing with, and now they can start working in a different direction. So I don't know about the rest of you, but that girl sure deserves a break. She's been in care since January. And forgive me, I've got allergies going on. And yes, I have taken the medication. So, she really deserves a break. The good news, and thank you all for your thoughts and prayers. The last we heard, Erin's sister is now home. So thank you all for your help on that one, which was absolutely incredible. Jodi has had a really tough week, but when we do the one step at a time section, you're going to see that she's still keeping her commitments. I think the thing that really impresses me about Jodi is that she suffers a lot more than most people realize, and yet she still gets things done. She puts a lot of us to shame on that area, and she's very humble about it as well. Makes it worse, doesn't it? And please, let's continue to have the thoughts and prayers going for Pat and Bill. Bill's brother has just been diagnosed with a rare aggressive bone cancer. So they are really needing your thoughts and prayers. And also, hi, Amy. You thought you were the first. Yeah, that goes to show how wrong you can be, hey, Amy. But they also, on the good news, got a new grandbaby called Gage, and he came in at just over 7 pounds, I believe, just 7 pounds 1 ounce, I think, if I got it right. And also, Nana said that she's got a direct family member that is in trouble. So we keep that person in our thoughts and prayers, even though we don't know who it is. It doesn't really matter. Just think about the fact that it's Nana's immediate family member who is sick, and then put your prayers in there. So good stuff, everybody. It's really important. Now let me quickly see what we've got in the way of birthdays. And I'm hoping I don't crash my system again. That's what caused my delay. For some reason, when I went to go and broadcast, my system decided to have a moment, and you all know that feeling, I know. Well, actually, I hope you don't, but no, we don't have any birthdays this week that I know of. So if anybody has a birthday this week that I should know of, let me know. Jodi will take a note and we'll add it in so we don't get that wrong next week. All right. Any other news that I need to be made aware of? All right. And so if you are ghosting, for those of you who might not know what that is, ghosting is when you're watching but not actually physically in the room. A couple of things I'd like you to know about. Number one is welcome. A lot of people in the room will tell you that they ghosted for a long time before they ever came in and joined in the chat. But I also want to give a big round of applause for those people who do come in to chat, because they really, to a large part, have given me permission to actually talk about what they're saying. And just know that as soon as I finish the broadcast, I actually cut off the chat so nobody can see the names. There might be a 5-minute period before it all settles down, but the first thing I do when I finish the show is to stop the chat from being visible. And occasionally that takes up to 5 minutes, but know that happens, because I don't want people, reading your name or whatever. And if you say something that I think might be something you said in the emotion of the moment rather than thinking it through, I will actually check to see if that's okay for me to talk about on on the show with your name attached to it. Otherwise, I will just talk about it, but not with a name attached to it. Okay, so we got that one cleared up. If you're not a subscriber to DearMamaSal, make sure you click the little bell. I think you'll find it in your top right-hand corner there. There's a lovely picture of my face, and then just to the left of that, there's a bell. If you click that, it will keep you informed of any time I'm doing a broadcast, which is normally 3 times a week. And also recommend that you follow us on DearMamaSal on Facebook and DearMamaSal on Twitter. Those are the 2 places I put up news, mostly on Facebook, by the way. But so it's really important that you keep involved in that. All right, so we're on the news side. We're really happy that Lauren is home, but those of you who know Lauren, she could probably do with a bit of support this week. I think that transition from being in care and being waited on almost, if you like to word it that way, hand and foot for some months, and then getting home. Sometimes the reality of that is a bit difficult. Have any of you found that? Have any of you been in hospital and then, for more than a couple of days, and then ended up going home, and it was exciting to get home, but then you realized, nobody's doing the washing, you've got to do it, or nobody's doing the washing up, you've got to do it, and and all those sort of things. So I find that sometimes that is a difficult transition to make. I haven't done well. Yeah, Amy recognizes that one. I haven't done well on my commitments. Actually, probably better than I am admitting. I did get all those boxes downstairs. I did it not the way I thought I was going to, but I did get it done. And yesterday, I think I've started up 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. I am now back on. I really need to just put things into boxes and understand I've just got to get it ready for show. If I move these boxes with me, it's not the end of the world. I think that's part of my problem. So that's what I'm up to. And for those of you who heard that I was having lunch with one of my sons, Dougie, it went really well. So that's my news from that side. I've got good news on the One Step at a Time from Jodi. She actually, even though she's had a really tough week, Jodi actually got out her sketch pad and a pencil and started to draw. Well done, Jodi. And she sent me the drawing to prove it to me. And now the next trick is to actually paint it. But what I asked her was, did she enjoy it? That's all that I care about. I think if you're regular viewers, you will know I really encourage people to get creative if they're in a bit of a funk, because for some reason being creative changes your mindset. And Jodi, if you wouldn't mind, perhaps you can tell us in what way, yeah, it felt good to sketch again. And in what way, Jodi, just so people understand that, you may not be an artist in your view. And by the way, I'm not either, but people actually introduce me as one. I always find that amazing. I go, yeah, right. You see, art is in the eye of the beholder. It's not in your eyes necessarily. Triona, by the way, was telling us that she's busy on a plan losing weight, so we'll hope to hear from her. And if she comes in, please remind me to ask her, because some of you got better memories than I do. Chip, those kitchen drawers, how are they doing? And whilst Chip is giving me an answer on that one, does anybody else need some support? There's something... This is about stuff that you know that you should be doing, but you're procrastinating about. It's not about your everyday stuff. It's like that little one step extra that you know that you need to spend some time on. Now, the one step at a time that I took was that I actually have been sick this week with some sort of a virus. And what I decided was to keep me still and looking after my body. I decided to start a multiplayer type online game. And I know that might sound strange, but that always takes a lot of time to do. And therefore, I knew it would keep me pretty solid, not trying to do too much that was going to be wrong. Hi, Alice. Good to see you. Any news, Alice, that you'd like to update everybody on? By the way, for those of you who know Oz, I did hear from Oz this week, which was good. He seems to be fine. And I didn't get his answer. Maybe he gave it to me and I fell asleep, because you understand we have different time clocks. Because I wondered whether he had got a job yet. He's been looking for a job. Just bear with me 1 second. There we go. Let me see if he gave me an answer on that one. I don't know. Everything had a power cut yesterday, apparently, and I didn't realize that until I went to... Hi, Sakura, good to see you. I didn't notice that there had been a power cut. Oh, somebody tried to phone me. That's interesting. I thought that was... apparently Benji tried to call me. Duh. I was fast asleep. All right, I will find the answer to that and let you guys know. Anyway, so the good news is that Chip, I need you to understand something. The fact that you can come in here and tell us the truth that life got in the way, you understand, is the important part. And it's part of the topic that we're going to be talking about, which is because that's being real. How many of you know that in some of your lives, or if it's not you, it's somebody you know, that they would rather tell the lie and be seen to be perfect than to actually admit that truth? Which Chip just did, not good. I had a personal emergency this week and it threw me for a loop. I don't know about you, but I much prefer that answer. And so I'd like to give a big shout out here to Chip, because that is what today's broadcast is all about, quite honestly. All right, so let us just move on to that. And Jodi, the time check is 14:30. What we're going to be talking about today is the courage to be real. And this, I want to give credit to Jodi on this one, because Jodi actually gave me the suggestion for this, and I didn't think I had time to actually build a broadcast around it. But what I realized was that I do. I just have to find the topic area that I can talk about. So Jodi sent me the example, and I wonder if any of you, hi there, Linda. And Linda, how are you doing there? Anyway, so what I wondered was, how many of you relate to what Jodi sent me and said maybe we can discuss this? What she talked about was a time when she was back at school, and when we feel it necessary to fit in with people. How many of you remember that feeling? Hi Beth, it's important that I fit in now. And therefore, even though I might not agree with what the group's saying, I'm going to pretend that I do so that I fit in. And I wonder if any of you ever did that. I know I did for quite a long while. Yeah, Jamie does. Amy still does. You see, don't you love that honesty? You see, Amy, that's why you fit in so well here, because that's the courage to be real. All right. Yeah. And do I still? Not as much, I must admit. I think there are occasionally times that I do, but not as much. Oh, so Linda, interestingly enough, said that her father always said, I played my own tune and not to worry. Yeah. Chip, well done, Chip. She said she does. All right. So Alice says that she wasn't very good at it. Alice, that's why you are such a unique personality, in my view. And I must admit that I'm going to say I'm afraid to say, and I wonder why I'm afraid to say that. I got to think about that. Wow. What I'm going to say, I'm going to continue the sentence, but I just had to stop myself because sometimes, you need to look at the way you worded things. I was going to say, I'm afraid to say that I was somebody who quite often said what I thought. I'm pretty sure that some of you are not surprised about that. Rather than fit in. And because of that, though, the peculiar thing was, how many of you found out that let's do a little mini workshop on this one. For those of you who like to take notes, grab a piece of paper and put a line down the center and think about what are the good things about being real. And on the other side, it's called the Benjamin Franklin model, I think. On the other side, put the negatives about being real, because as in all things in life, there are good things about things and there are also not so good things about life. So do a pro-con on a pro list on the left-hand side and a con list on the right-hand side. And for those of you who would rather talk through that rather than write it for whatever reasons, let's hear some of the good things. And by the way, you might get some ideas to add to your list when we do this. What are some of the good things about talking your truth, being real, rather than fitting in? So from your experience in life, what are the advantages to doing that? Anybody? Because if there aren't any advantages to doing it, why would we do it? Because I know there's some disadvantages to doing it. Interesting. Yes, a nice one. Linda says when she speaks, when she has the courage to be real, her conscience is clear. She hasn't told a lie. Good one. Well, and Alice said, same sort of idea. When she does this, she can look in the mirror and face herself, which is, how many of you know that one, which is, hey, this might not have gone down well, but at least I know I told the truth on this. Yeah, Amy's saying, but for her, it got her with no friends whatsoever. Yes, but hold on a second, Amy. We're going to talk about that in a second. That's a negative. Now Jodi's adding, others can get to know the real you. Yes. Hi, Glia. Big hugs to the Philippines. I always want to say Po. Why do I want to say Po? I don't know. Anyway, for some reason, Philippines and Po go together in my mind, obviously. So, yeah, Chip agrees with Linda and says, when she is real, she has peace of mind. Sakura saying, when she was young and did her own thing, and that's interesting. And if I don't like what everybody else is doing, I don't do it. The advantage is that I am happier in a way, and I do me. This is who I am. How many of you can think about that? About when you stepped, and this is the topic that Jodi was talking about, when you have the courage to step outside of the group and tell your truth, knowing that you are going to lose the group. How many of you can see that takes courage? Because it's almost certain that you will lose friends, pretend friends. Yeah, and Amy's been there and done that. So let's have another look then at the negative side of it. It's a possibility that you could lose friends. Linda saying, but you could have confidence that your opinion is not the normal one. Yes, in other words, part of the interest here is you're not normal. How many of you really want to be normal? You are not normal because normal people would stay in the group and be swayed by the peer pressure thing. A lot of you who are regulars know that I really pick up on people telling me what I have to do. You really must do this. You ought to do that. Those are all what I call things you say to a 5-year-old. It's not what you say to an adult. And so to me, I can remember even going to school when people would say to me, but you have to do that. And I go, I don't think so. I don't think I have to. I may choose to, but I don't think I have to. I'm a lot better at it now than I was before. So, Linda says, and listen to this. This is a beautiful way of putting it. I'm normal, but not easily swayed. All right. Sakura said the disadvantage is everybody dislikes me and I have no friends. People don't include her anymore, but I am still me and I found my love and great people like people here. Thank you very much indeed for that, Sakura. Yes. Now, Glia from the Philippines is saying, I used to be easily swayed, but I changed now. Yes. Amy's saying that normal is boring, but you understand. How many of you, let me try a really difficult one on this one. So take a deep breath, everybody, because this one could touch a nerve somewhere. How many of you still as adults play this game with your parents? In other words, you still pretend that you agree with everything that they say. And Sakura, I'm going to try and say that and let me know if I got it right. Mabutu Yun? Or Mabutu Yun, I think. Yes, the interesting thing is Mabutu Yun. Jodi, I wonder if you could write that down for me because I have so many viewers that pop in that actually do come from the Philippines and especially for when we do December, I need to remember those words. Thank you so much. Yeah, Alice is saying that she hasn't had a relationship with her parents since she was 15, and the chances are it was because you told your truth. Oh, sorry, it's Amy that says that. I'm sorry, Alice. Amy said that. And, I know that Alice has problems with her family for the same reason. Now, Linda has put some words around it, which is always what we look for. So Linda has learned to say, I hear what you're saying. I slightly disagree, but I get where you're coming from. How many of you are going, wow, that's a good way of saying it? All right. I hear what you're saying. I slightly disagree, but she doesn't give her what it is. She just says, I slightly disagree, but I get where you're coming from. So that's a really nice sandwich technique. Yeah, somebody said to me one day, the words, wow, that's interesting. I'll give that some thought. Because at the moment I don't feel the same way, but obviously I'll give that some thought. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to agree with them. It just means you will give it some thought. Now, here's the trick that I need you all to understand deep in your heart. If they don't ask what your opinion is, they have no interest in your views. Does that make sense? Because, to my mind, you can tell if somebody is genuinely interested in you if they want to hear what your view is on something. But if your view contradicts theirs, then you're not a good person. Then you understand that I mean, I know we got some examples of that going on in world politics at the moment, but it's like, it's not true that just because your idea conflicts with mine that you're a bad person. You just have a different point of view. Yes, and Linda's saying that we have the right to do the same thing, which is you have the right not to ask any further questions about their point of view. How many of you have been long-time viewers, and even though I have some pretty solid views on certain things, that I have given people who have totally contrary views a lot of space to air their views and tell the viewers their point of view? How many of you have seen me do that? And why would I do that? Why would I do it when I know that those views that are about to be expunged, I think is the word, why would I do that when I know that the views will probably upset some of my viewers? But why do I make a point of doing it? I'm not perfect. I don't do it all of the time, but a lot of the time I will say, hang on a second, let's just hear this person out and let's try not to interrupt them. Let's give them the space to say what they feel. All right, so Sakura is saying, that is like liberals. Hubby and I talked about that, and the different opinions are good, and respecting their views are good. But we don't need to agree. We just agree to disagree. That's also good. Yes, and Alice is saying that she thinks I do it because there are more truths than just one, and to learn. Yes, you're right, Alice. You know me deeper than a lot of people. And to me, sometimes I'm doing it because I want to know, what am I missing? Because I always ask myself that, what am I missing that people can feel this way about this situation? Right? I must be missing something in my psyche. And that's why I want to hear it out. And when I hear it out, if I still disagree, I normally thank them for their point of view, because that's what I asked for, and move on. It's like, yes, Jodi's saying it becomes a learning moment and it's respectful. And Glia, as you're new, Glia, I just want to check, or new to us anyway, I don't know how long you've been watching, but is it okay for me to repeat your comments with your name attached to it? Or shall I just say, and a viewer? Because it could be any of the viewers, right? Just let me know that. because you're new and I don't know whether you want me to do that or not. It's a different culture and I understand that. But the fact you're here, the chances are probably will be okay. But if you understand, it's perfectly okay if the answer is no. So how many of you know it's a good, that get into the habit of listening? Okay, Glia, you're definitely in the right group. All right. Bonus point to Glia. New as she is, she said, yes, Mama Sal, it's fine. Yay, big hug. And Glia, while I'm talking about this, type us a note and let us know why you're in the room today. All right, because there must be a reason why you came in today, and we'd love to hear it. And if you like, could you let us know roughly how old you are? Like in 20s, teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, or like me, 70s. I'm just squeaked into the 70s. I'm about to squeak into 71 next month. All right, so here's what Clea said. I guess it's good to listen to others' opinions as it shows that you respect whatever they want to say, even though you disagree with them. I think it encourages them to listen to your views as well. Very good. Yes. Now, how many of you have had the good manners to listen to somebody else's views and then they're not interested in hearing yours? That would be normal. Right? And so what I want to make sure we understand is of all the people in the world, about 20% of the people will actually want to hear what your opinion is. If you're lucky, a few more. But I always work on, if they actually ask for my opinion, I go, wow, that's so good. Thank you. You don't have to agree with me, but here's my opinion. Okay. So, Glia, this is a group. Do you know who I am? Or was it just by accident that you arrived here? The reason I say that is because I want to know whether you've been watching for a long time and know all about the support groups that we run and so forth. Because if you're interested in the topic, then either you have had some experience in it or you need some help in it. So to me, this is like, wow. And by the way, I think the youngest viewer that ever gave me their age was Emily, the original Emily. For those of you who remember back to Blog TV, and I think she was 15 when she first started to work, and that was just when I started 6 years ago. So, all right. So Linda's saying, I've always told my two sons their opinions are valid. I may disagree, but I'll love them nonetheless. And boy, does it give rise to some healthy discussions. Yep. Aha! All right, so Clea says, I've only learned about the group just now, but I've been following you for a long time now. So you know all about the system. Let's make sure that everybody else that's watching like you were understand. What we do is we discuss normally some pretty difficult subjects here. And the reason is because I know for a fact that I wish somebody had discussed them with me when I was a lot younger. I think my life would have been very different. But I'm very grateful for my life because it brought me here and in front of you today. So don't get me wrong. I'm a great believer in being thankful for everything that I've got, and I am. So now Alice, on the other hand, says she normally keeps her opinion to herself and only give it if I feel like the people are asking for the right reasons. Oh, that's a good one, Alice. Yeah. How many of you, sorry, the allergies are getting to me. How many of you found that it's almost like they're being sociable? Okay, what is your opinion? But you can tell, am I right, Alice? You can tell by the way that they ask it that they're really not interested in it, but they're being socially polite, if you like. Hi, Triona. Welcome. Triona, meet Clea. She is new, she's 19 and from the Philippines. And maybe this would be a good time, just very quickly, to do a roll call, everybody, so that we can tell Glia, even though she's been watching for a while, where everybody's from and roughly how old they are. I think we've only got females in the room at the moment, but I could be wrong. Okay, so you gather from that Triona is from Ireland. Wow. And so Alice actually, when somebody asks for her opinion, what goes through her mind is, are they trying to be polite, nosy, or are they genuinely interested? Yeah, I do have a question for Triona. Thank you. And only females, guess what? Ireland's pacifist came out of the woodwork and told us he's there. And I missed you coming in. I'm sorry. Yeah. Welcome. So Missy, by the way, Glia, we call her Linda because that's her name. And she just hit 50. Happy 50th. And did we have that birthday, Linda, on our list? Amy is from Brunei, Texas. I didn't know there was a Brunei. Oh, Burnett. I thought it was Brunei. I beg your pardon. It'd be helpful if I wore my glasses. From Burnett in Texas. Okay, not a problem, Alan. That's the topic we're talking about, is being real. So understand that. See, Alan's saying to me, "Hi." He's busy working on a couple of things at the moment on different tabs, but he's listening to us. So that's awesome. Chip is in the Baja in Mexico. What a place to live. Yeah, Christmas Eve. Okay, Jodi, if you could just make a note of that, just so I can double check that we've got that date. I don't think we did, but I could be wrong. Did I wish you a happy birthday, Linda? That will tell us. If I wished you a happy birthday, then I know it's on the list. Beth says, how many of you know this is real? Beth says, my sister knows not to ask for my opinion about stuff anymore. Whatever I say to her, I'm wrong, and she is right. She just wants to start an argument with me. So how many of you have learned that truth? So, okay, so Jodi, we definitely need to know that Linda's birthday is on Christmas Eve. Yes, Alice saying, I always warn people that I'm about to be brutally honest if they ask. Yes, I'm inclined to say to people, thank you for asking. Do you really want to know what I think? Because you might not like it. All right, so Beth is saying that when she sees her sister about to ask questions, she knows there's a trap coming. Wow, what a horrible way to live. Okay, so Linda's saying, ooh, when someone's wanting an argument but not letting them have one, she loves that. Trina, I was going to ask you, I have a note about you that you were trying to lose weight, so I wondered how that's going. Because I started keeping real track again, and I found out I put on weight, which was heartbreaking because I really was trying to lose it. But I think part of the reason I lost weight is because I put on weight was because I wasn't getting enough sleep. And that was an interesting thing. Do you all know that if you're trying to lose weight, make sure you get enough sleep? Hmm. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing. I thought I was getting a lot of sleep. And then I noticed when I got my Fitbit, it's really keeping a very different view of my sleep. It not only tells me how much sleep I had, but also at what level. Now, the interesting thing for me is that, some of you know that I'm on a sleep apnea mask, which forces air through my nose at night because I was losing. But what I found out was I thought that, whatever the machine told me was actually the good news. But what I found out is what my Fitbit tells me is better information. And the reason for that, and it's really important for me, is that I found out I was getting the sleep, but it wasn't the sort of sleep I needed. I know from my tests that I've had done that I have a problem with REM sleep and deep sleep. And what I found out by wearing this watch, I can actually see when I don't get it. And I think I'm averaging, although the mask was telling me I'm averaging a lot better, I'm actually only averaging about 5 hours sleep a night. Hi, Fernando. Good to see you. Yeah, so congratulations to Linda and Triona on their weight loss. And those of us who are attempting to do that, will keep trying to get there with you. I did lose about a pound this week, so I'm quite happy with myself for that. The main thing was I didn't put a pound on that I know of. So Triana is saying that what she's learned is not to eat bread anymore. It helps, as well as not having butter. So Jamie, I'm certain, will have some information about the easiest way to do that. Can you join the group for weight loss? Yes. Jodi, if you just remind me, I will make sure we add that on. Now, Beth, I just want to get back on topic here. So, Beth, I have a question to ask of you. Welcome back, Carrie. Okay, so Beth is saying, I think butter is fine to eat. It's carbs and sugar, two of my bad ones. Yeah, Beth, you came up in my thoughts as you do quite regularly, and I've been wanting to ask you this question. Some of you may know that Beth actually goes and cleans, amongst other jobs that she does. One of the things she does is to go and clean somebody's office. I have this vision in my mind, Beth, and I want to make sure that it is correct, that you have got this cleaning somebody's office down to a fine art. You know that if you walk in, it's going to take you X number of minutes to finish that particular office because you have a routine. You go in, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, and then you walk out. The only thing that extends the time, if something isn't normal, in other words, their normal level of messiness and garbage and whatever, means this office will take you this block of time. Now, the reason I'm asking you this, because I wanted to get real on something. How long does it take you? How many? For those of you who're lucky enough to have dishwashers, how long does it take you to empty a dishwasher? Do you know what the reality is of that? Let's get real on this one. All right. All right. So Beth's saying, yes, she has a certain time that I have to get it done in. Not have to, you choose to, Beth. She hates it when I do that to her. But other days when it's not so messy, then I'll have extra cleaning, like I'll dust blinds and stuff. All right, that's really interesting. So Beth sees her job in a time frame. All right. This job, I'm allowed to spend this many hours on. If I get finished beforehand, I will stay at this many hours, but I will just do more. Now, a lot of people would just say, oh, well, if I finished ahead of time, I'll leave and have more time to myself. But listen to the work ethic. Beth, I want to give you a bonus point there. Yeah. So do you all understand? And that's why I'm asking if any of you have got a dishwasher. Now, I've got getting some interesting comments about my husband as my dishwasher. All right. So maybe I picked a wrong one. Let me think of something else that I'm pretty sure. All right. Do you all have a certain amount of time that you know it takes you? All right. Let me give you an example and see if any of you relate to that. I know that to get up, get dressed, and be ready to broadcast, I need a 2-hour slot. That's slot, SLOT. I need a 2-hour slot, all right? Because I need to have time to get up and drink 2 different cups of coffee while I wake up. And then I need time to put on my makeup and put my hair in rollers, right? Because that's how I do it. So what I do is I have my hair in rollers. Wish I hadn't done that now. While I put my makeup on, as some of you know. And then I know I need to put a notice that the broadcast is about to happen. And then between the time that I put that broadcast notice that it's about to happen, that's the 35-minute warning, between there and the time of the broadcast, I know I've got enough time to put on my makeup, which is normally what I do, transfer my computer into my dining room here so that I'm ready to broadcast. Now, you understand, I've got it down to what I call a pretty fine chunk of time. I know what it takes. Yes, Beth's saying, I allow myself 2 hours to get ready for the day, including shower, getting ready, and walking the dog, and then start my day. Yes. So how many of you are being real about the fact that's how long it really does take? I agree with you, Beth. For me to do it in what I call not a rushed state, but in a just this is how long it takes me in reality to get up, get dressed, get my makeup on, do my hair, and get my coffee in, so 2 of them, so that I can start functioning. It takes me 2 hours. That's being real. Can I do it in less? Yes. But what does it do to my day? Beth, I totally agree with you. Beth is saying, I need my coffee and me time to get organized and motivated. I agree. Yes, Alice says she takes 2 hours too. Try to do it in less. Well, trying to do it in less makes me stressed and late. Yes, Alice, I agree with you. Yeah, Sakura's being real, and she's saying, I don't have that schedule yet. I always rush, but getting ready takes me 2 to 2.5 hours. All right, that's being real. Fandango says, I agree. I always allow myself an extra amount of time because it seems that no matter what I plan, it always takes longer than I anticipate. Beth says, when I rush, I'm frustrated all day. Linda says 2 hours of peace is enough for me. Yeah, it's right. All right, so Glia is saying it takes her about an hour to get up, take a shower, get dressed before she goes to school. She just has breakfast at her university. All right, so, but you know what that chunk of time is, all right? But during non-school days, it probably takes me about 2 to 2.5 hours. Triona says she takes about an hour to have a shower, makeup, and breakfast. Wow, that's pretty fast moving. Alice, I love that honesty. Alice says, I didn't manage to get that routine until late last year. It's always been a struggle. I think one of the greatest things I found about being retired, Alice, is you find out what your natural speed is, and mine is a lot slower than I thought. a lot slower. No wonder I ran out of adrenaline. I was just like Beth. I was always go, 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 go. And it's like, no, that's not. How do you do it, Sakura? You actually time yourself at the weekends when it isn't a rush. That is what I suggest. All right. So Linda's saying, although time management is a good subject, as I want to go back to learning, yes, I think it's really, yeah, it's really important. That's what we're constantly doing here, is taking hopefully another step in our learning about ourselves. All right. So Alice is saying she was more motivated to stay in bed. I've been sick all week with a virus, Alice, and what I did yesterday was I said, okay, as the clock hits the top of the hour, you need to get out of bed and stay out of bed for 15 minutes. I know that sounds really weird, but that was my discipline, which was I couldn't just go and get a coffee and come straight back to bed. I had to stay out of bed for at least 15 minutes and do something, because I knew if I didn't, I wouldn't have the energy to do the broadcast. All right. So Kerry is saying, first of all, we just want to give that update on the news about Kerry. And Jodi, if you can just make a note, because I forgot to add that into the news and views. Kerry's car conked on her, so she's busy looking for a new car. It's not easy. I quite agree, Kerry. And, oh, so is this a new job, Kerry, that you'll be working on Sundays? All right. Linda's saying afternoon naps are her problem. All right. So why do you need an afternoon nap, Linda? And Triona's saying, when I'm off, I can take all day to get ready. Yes, because you need that amount of sleep. I totally understand that. Oh, and another bit of update. Alice, let me know if I can share that with the world, because I don't want to talk about a medical thing unless you give me the okay. Well, Kerry, we will miss you on Sundays, but I'm glad that you are happy. Okay, so Alice is saying that she is struggling with vertigo, and the ENT, that's very good for somebody who speaks English as a second language. The ENT won't see me before September. Yes, it's that time of the year, Alice, that I've always said it's a dangerous time of the year to get sick. And I know that from my experience, because I remember I started to go into really serious pain about this time of the year, and I couldn't get into hospital until September. And that was really difficult. They had to end up giving me some pretty nasty stuff so I could handle the pain. So I understand that. All right. So Linda's saying that she's not sleeping well at night. All right. So as that is the issue. So if you're not sleeping well at night, the fact that you actually are giving yourself permission to have naps in the afternoon, I think deserves a gold star. Because quite honestly, I wasn't sleeping well and I wasn't taking the nap. So you know what happened there. Yes, and congratulations on doing that trip. Alice went to VidCon, and that's interesting because that's the one year I didn't go. Alice went to VidCon, which is the big video convention, and they normally have about 20,000 people, but I gather that they had even more this year. Alice, is that correct? Yeah, she was saying that the vertigo happened to her on day 2 of VidCon. So she was walking like a drunk for the rest of the trip. Yeah, Alice, I've seen you make vodka drinks. I know how that looks. Alice makes the best vodka snowball type drink that, I can remember sitting in a hot tub with one of those with her. Yes, Disney is quite something, isn't it? But even so, I want to tell you something. I can remember turning to Auntie Mel, that would be Benji's sister, and saying to her, because she was with me at the time, and I said, "Am I standing on Disneyland now?" And she said, "What?" And I said, "I just want to know, am I standing on Disneyland now?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, and I just started to cry. I said, "I've waited a lifetime to do that." So the getting real is really, to me, a very important part of life. For those of you who try to make friends in life, you will find out that if the only way you make friends was by pretending you agreed with them, then you are not telling the truth to them. And therefore, this is the point that I wanted to make, and I wonder if it makes sense to any of you. If you spend your life doing that, do you understand you will spend your life attracting pretend friends because you actually are not telling your truth? Does that make sense? If you are busy agreeing with people because you don't want to lose them as friends, then you are a pretend friend. Now, I want to tell you a story. Wow, listen to what Beth says. This is what I need. This is what I want. Take it or leave it, right? Yes, Kerry saying that as well. When I started telling my truths, I lost a lot of people. Yeah. Well, the good news, Amy is saying my problem is that people don't understand my being real, so end up just walking away from you. We've all had that happen, Amy, but here's the good news. You will, if you keep being real, you will attract the sort of people that appreciate that. All right, I want to tell you what happened to me yesterday. I went out to go and meet somebody yesterday that I understood was a part of a group of community-minded people who were starting a project to live together over on Vancouver Island. And my realtor thought it'd be really good for me to meet up with this person, so I did. Now, it was really interesting because when I met up with her, I started asking her really in-depth questions because I knew that I probably didn't have a lot of time. So I was going, how far along is this project? Oh, and then she said, well, in order to give you that information, you have to have signed up on, our webpage. And I'm going, why? Why? And I said, that sounds very, elitist to me, but I mean, it's your right. But, I said that immediately puts up a wall for me, well, we just don't want the wrong sort of people there. And I'm going, and that's based on what? And I kept being who I am, and I kept asking the questions I would ask about anybody about joining in with a project. And I kept getting stonewalled, which is I don't get those answers unless I've done step 2. Now, I'm the sort of person where I don't do that well. And I started to lean forward. How many of you can imagine this, right? That those of you who've known me well, I started to lean forward and I said, so let me see if I got this right. I'm here to find out you're here to find out if I'm a fit. And you're going to base whether I'm a fit on whether I find that a little nasty. And I said, because if so, I'm not a fit. Because I am the sort of person. Okay, Alice. Great for coming in. Thank you. Yeah. So to me, it was like, I'm not going to sign up. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm very careful who I give my information to these days. And, I'm not going to sign up with you just so I have the right for the information. And by the way, what are you judging me on? And she said, well, I find you a little intense. How many of you can imagine that? And I went, I am. Yeah, I am a little intense. And you know why? Because I ask questions that are important to me. And I'm sorry if you find that being intense. You see, like, let me give an example of this, all right, and see if you can understand what intense was. She had said something to me. She gave me the price of how much it would cost per unit, on this collaboration that they're doing. And I said, how much have you got in your budget for cost overruns? What percentage? She said, what? I said, well, you're having this building built. What I'd like to know is, from a financial business point of view, how much have you got in your contingency for what the overruns might be? No, they've given us a quote. I said, well, I come from a business background, and I want to tell you something. There is no way a building I have ever heard of that gets built for what they said it was going to be. Yeah, unless you talk about a certain other person. But I said, for what they said it was going to be, it always has an overrun clause, because during the course of the time it takes them to build it, the costs normally go up. And they have this clause in the contract that allows them to charge this plus this percent for overruns. That's what it's called. So I said, so you wouldn't know about that? Oh, no, I'm not interested in that sort of stuff. We're not at that sort of stage yet. And I said, I thought you were about to start building. So she found these questions intense. I don't think they were intense. To me, they were just like, that's not intense. I have the right to know that. You're asking me to sign in to a group of people, put down a big chunk of money for a group of people that won't even answer the most basic questions. I don't know about you, but I actually came away from this meeting and I wrote to my realtor and said, I think I failed this test big time. And yes, Amy, they were common sense questions I had every right to ask as an investor. The other thing I asked Amy was, am I buying just the unit, the one-bedroom unit, or am I buying, I think there were going to be 34 units on this thing. Am I buying 1/34 of the total project? She went, what? I said, I want to know, does this chunk of money buy me the right to live in this unit? Or does it buy me 1/34 of the total project? And she said, what? How many of you understand what I'm asking here? Because, if you buy an apartment in an apartment block, all right, you need to know, does this give me the right to live in this unit, or does it give me, if you sell the land underneath this building, do I get one part of it? Okay, so then, I'd already lost a point, right? And how do you think I felt when I was losing these points? You see, that's the interesting thing. I could hear myself losing brownie points as I went along. So then she said something about, but we're going to do all this like a community and da 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 da. And I said, okay, let me ask you another question then. I'm beginning to have failing health. And in terms of failing health, will I be judged on my ability to, add value work-wise to the project? In other words, she was saying, about the gardens and everything. I said, will it be an expectation that I will spend time working in the garden? Well, we haven't decided that yet. And I said, but if you haven't decided it, how can I say yes or no to the project? Because I don't want you bringing that rule in after I've already signed up, when I know I might not be able to do it. Well, that's interesting. Jodi's saying your words are going to be ringing in her ears as the project continues. I don't think so, Jodi. I think she will be really glad I wasn't on board. You know what I mean? Because, oh, and then she said, we make all our decisions by consensus. How many, I hate to say this, people, but there was part of me that goes, that's real scary. That, it's not like we make, I would have liked to heard we make it by consensus, but we have lawyers on board, we have marketing people on board, we have da 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 da. But the idea that a group of people who couldn't answer those basic questions could be the group scared me absolutely stupid. So this was like, so can you imagine that when I'm going, I don't think I'm a good fit here. And I'm sure she felt the same way about me, but I wasn't that upset. Because what do I know would happen? Being real, people, what do I know is going to happen if I get anywhere near that group? I'm going to be asking questions like this. Then, bless her heart, she actually got real. And this is the reason why I think it's important. She said to me, actually, I'm not a salesperson for them. I said, really? Then why am I here? Well, I was there so she could assess whether I was a good fit. And at that point, I laughed. So I'm going, yeah. And I said, well, you have to forgive me, but before I put a chunk of money down, that there are a whole lot of questions I want answered. But now she wants me to go and spend a weekend and go and meet all the other people and do this, that, and the other. And I'm going, I don't know about you, but they sent the wrong person to meet me. And then she did say something about, oh, well, I understood that you were a really creative person, so I thought that we'd be just fine. I said, what I hear now is that to be a creative person, one should not ask these sort of questions. I think I'm a very creative person. I'm also a business person. Therefore, I will continue to ask those sort of questions. So, the point that I'm trying to make is that, do you understand that if I had pretended to go along with everything, I would be telling them a lie? Does that make sense to anybody? Now, if they come back and say, hey, we think you'd be a great fit because of your business knowledge and da 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 da, that's a whole different story, but I don't think that's going to happen. So this is my next question to you. At what point in your life did you say, hang on a second, I don't agree with this and I need to say so? When did you first start doing that? And let me add a bit there. And I know I probably will lose respect, friends, and peace of mind by doing so, but I still have to say what I believe. Breakfast. And I thought Jodi's analogy of being at school Was a very important. Right. So Jodi's saying not until she hit her 30s. Chip says mid-20s for her. And Linda's saying years ago, that seemed to have been my problem. They didn't like it. No, they don't. All right. But Sakura's saying, I just do it when I feel it, or just walk away and walk out and ignore. Yes. All right. And so Pacifist is saying that happened to me in a big scale around the abortion referendum in Ireland 2 months back. Yes, because you stated what you believed, you lost a lot of friends, Pacifist. But that doesn't mean that you weren't entitled to your opinion. All right? That just a lot of people chose not to be your friend anymore because of your views. Glia is saying it just recently happened to her. So, Glia, if you would like some help on that, let us know. Yeah. Kerry is saying that she's in love with the big quilt that Pat sent. Yes, I totally know that feeling. Wow. Amy, I want to tell you that anytime you can start looking at the truth in yourself, it's a really frightening thing to do in a lot of ways. But boy, on a lot of other ways, it's very freeing. What I know now, Amy, that I didn't know then, and I've got to say this to you and anybody else who's lost friends because they told the truth. What I found really interesting was the friends that I kept because I told the truth, and who liked me a lot better because I did. And also how many of them have said to me, the one thing I know about you, Sal, is if I ask for your opinion, I'm going to get your opinion. And I know not to ask you if I don't want it. I said, that's good with me. Right? Yeah, Beth says, I started when I realized I didn't know who I was anymore. I just would be however the person I was with wanted me to be. That's called being a pretzel, Beth. And Jodi will tell you she totally related to that. When Jodi and I first talked, she was the pretzel that you are talking about. So, yeah, and Linda, thank you for that. Linda said she learned it here. She said she now says to her boys, I may disagree with your opinion is valid, so we'll take it from there. All right. Kerry's saying she became 100% real in her late 20s. I'm not sure if I'm always 100% real. I try to be. I think it's being what they call congruent, right? Yes, Amy, if you've got one friend who you can be truthful to, that's a good start. Well done. All right, but Glia is saying she has already learned that I feel a lot happier when I learned to be real with people and told them my opinion on things. All right. Oh, Beth's saying she remembers a time, some of you may relate to this. She remembers a time when she was alone and had not only did she not have any friends, she didn't have any feelings because she didn't have that. Wow, what an incredible statement. She didn't have that external group of friends who kept feeding her how she ought to be feeling. Wow, Beth, that is how many people want to give her a standing ovation for that truth. She said it was like an empty shell. Yeah, Triona is saying that she's like me. She has always had an opinion on things. Yes, but she has attracted friends that are like her. They are straight talking, but not rude. Yeah, and Kerry's saying, that being here helped her unravel herself from her pretzel phase. Yeah. Well, Glea's saying that she doesn't think she's 100% real yet. Well, I got news for you. I don't think any of us is 100%. What we're looking for, Glea, is to take a step forward. Kerry, great great comment. Kerry says, I still want to fit in, but I want to fit in being me. All right. I don't want to, that's absolutely what I'm talking about here. All right. Which is have the courage to be who you are and still fit in. Right. That is the trick. And so one thing that always amazes me about DearMamaSal, we have this rotating group of people that come in and out of DearMamaSal. But the interesting thing is, we don't have to agree with everybody, all right, because I know they're all in different places in their learning. But I believe that as a group, right, as a group, we can help one another. So as a group, we can support one another. As a group, yes, we will attract like-minded people. I really have to say that the DearMamaSal group keeps changing as people grow, and some people grow and leave. That's fine. Some people will replace them. To me, what I've always said, and I've said it quite regularly, is I don't worry about the numbers. Right? To me, I have never done Dear Mamas. Actually, we did celebrate a bit, when we hit some big milestones. But to me, it's never been about the numbers. It is about, can we do the work so people can learn? And the interesting thing for me is that every time I do a workshop like this, I'm one of the ones that learns. Okay, so Glea's asking, and before anybody answers Glea, please don't type yet. I just want to make sure I say that, and there's a reason, because I want to ask her a question. Glea's saying, what do you guys suggest I do if I need to pick between fitting in and being myself? Don't type yet, people. Glea, the question I have for you is, what is your sense? What do you think you need to do? And you may not answer, I don't know, that's why I'm asking. What does your gut feel tell you that you need to do if you need to pick between fitting in and being yourself? I'm being intense, Glea. But we love you. You feel like you should be yourself. You understand the should word is a guilt thing. So that doesn't tell me you're going to be yourself. I feel like I should. So I'd like a positive statement. Are you going to fit in by not being yourself, or are you going to be yourself even if it means you won't fit in? And how do you do that? So first of all, let's find out which way you are going to go. I want to be myself, even though I might not fit in. Yes. Now, you understand, once your feet are solid on the ground with that comment. Yeah, I understood it. All right. Once you understand that's what you want to do, but I want to be myself. What about I'm going to be myself? And Linda, I'm going to read your comment in a second. I just need to deal with Glea in this moment. But thank you for that. So Glea, how about you just get the words that say, hey, I know I normally agree with you guys, but on this one, I've just got to tell you my truth. I don't agree with this. And this is why. How does that feel, Glea? Yeah, don't try, just do it, Clea. Just be yourself, all right? Just check in with yourself, and even go when you go to bed at night, replay your day and go, did I tell the truth today, or did I tell lies just so I could fit in? Because every time you tell a lie just to fit in, you understand that you do yourself damage. Okay, and let me just go back. I want to go back to something that Linda said, and she said, "Don't underestimate what you and the peeps have done, Sal. I am Linda again with issues and life problems, but Linda is back to deal with things on my terms." All right. And so Amy also said during this conversation, for the longest time, I desperately wanted to fit in because I wanted friends, but now I feel like if people can't handle me, screw them. I would rather be alone. But this is not what I feel. Glia, Glia, are you still laughing? Because I've got another 2x4 I want to hit you with. But I need permission to hit you with one more. Because for a first visit, I'm being remarkably truthful with you. All right, I want you to go back. This is your learning moment, Clea. Take a deep breath. Okay, go back to that comment. You said, that's probably it, Beth. You understand, by putting the word probably in there, that's very questionable. So tell Beth again, is it true what she said, or do you disagree with her? And Linda's saying, hey, Sal, I get out of bed and say good morning to myself these days. Nuts, I know, but it's working. Yes, I get out of bed and I'm actually, I don't know if this makes sense to any of you. The first thing I do is give thanks for the fact I can still get out of bed. Yes, Clea, you made a statement. I agree with Beth. All right, so here's the trick, Clea. You want your assignment for the week? And by the way, anybody who's struggling with this issue, it's your assignment too. Are you ready, Clea? Because this is an assignment that might take you the rest of your life. So, okay, write down these words. Have you got a pen and a piece of paper? And anybody else who wants to do work on telling the truth more often? All right. Yeah, Carrie's saying she has an extremely small circle of friends today, but she's happy with them. That's right. I agree. All right. So if you're trying to improve how much you tell the truth, be aware of the number of times you say, well, probably, I should, maybe. So probably, should, have to, maybe. What other ones are guilt statements? Or, yeah, Beth knew what was coming. Beth got this 2x4 a while ago, and that's why she already knew what was coming, and she knew that she needed to warn you. It's not easy. But, Beth, let me ask you something. It might not be easy, but does it make a difference? And just so that you know, guys, because I'm not the perfect person, I still Jodi being Jodi says, I might do that. Yeah, and by the way, Beth, I work on it every day. You do know that, right, Beth? You know that I work on it every day. And so what I try and do is when I hear myself, I'll try. Oh, try is another one, by the way. Clear? Put try on that list. So when I hear myself use those words, Linda's saying assignments and 2x4s, they go together. And Carrie's saying that she works on that lesson 24/7. All right, so here's the thing. When I catch myself saying, well, I probably will do that, I actually stop myself now and I go, I just said probably. And I go, hang on 1 second. I need to check in with myself. And people will go, what? I'm going, I use the word probably. So I want to give you a better answer than that. Hang on a second, because I got to think. Yep, I'm going to do that. Not I'll try or I'll promise. By the way, don't promise anything. I totally stopped promising people that I would do things. Because I found I did myself a lot of damage with that one as well. Oh, I promise you I'll be there. Well, then I'd get sick. Yeah, if I can. Yeah, I'll do that if I can. That's the same as try, Epaphysis. Yeah, good one. By the way, Ireland, I wanted to ask you something. These people where you spoke your truth and you lost friends because of it, is it because of the way that you said it, do you think? Or, did you say, look, I'm happy that we disagree on things, I just don't totally agree with you? Or did you get into being told that you were an idiot because you thought that way? Or, because one of the things I find really interesting is, as you know, what is going in. Yeah, that's great. Beth's saying that she now says she's turned her have tos into I choose to. Yes. Beth, doesn't that make a difference to your self-esteem? Right? That's the trick. Change your self-esteem by changing the words you use. Not I have to be there by 9. I choose to be there by 9, which makes me accountable for getting up in time. And Jodi's saying, Sal taught me to replace promise with it's my intent. Yes, I say that a lot, Jodi. Okay, it's my intent to be there by 9. Just know if I'm not there by 9, something got in the way. All right, because it is my intent. I'm a time freak. When I say I'm going to be there at 9, that's the time. Listen to what Beth is saying. Beth's saying, yes, I don't choose to do as much as I used to have to. Wow. Yeah, because when you realize it's your personal choice. Okay, so Kerry's saying she's a tad frustrated and a little upset by this car situation. Who wouldn't be, Kerry? Yeah, Linda's saying changing the accountability was a biggie for her, right? When we stopped blaming them and realized we are accountable. So, Kerry, in what way, I think I know you better than this, but because you don't normally do that, in what way is it frustrating and what is upsetting you? All right, because you understand you did something that we're not used to hearing from you. So, what is frustrating and what is upsetting? Yeah, Beth saying, to Glear that it really helps when you can change these words a little. So, Glear, listen up here, girl. Understand you don't have to be perfect at this. The assignment is to be aware of how many times you say probably, must, have to, ought to, I'll try, And if you don't know what to say instead, write and ask me. Right? Or save it up for the next broadcast and make sure you ask that question. Doesn't matter if it doesn't fit in the right place. As you will see, people will do that all the time. So just, if you haven't, what the problem is for most of us is we want to be more personally accountable and can do it right, but we don't have the words. Nobody taught us the words. Like, when this woman said to me, "You're pretty intense," I said, "Actually, this isn't me being intense," because that's the truth, right? I said, "This is me being inquisitive. Imagine what I'm like when I'm intense." And I started to laugh because I'm going, she must have been, needing new underwear, because I'm going, boy, you think this is intense. All right, here we go, Carrie. That's what I've been waiting for. I'm frustrated because it's $1,200 to replace my transmission, so I'm upset because do I fork out that chunk of change, or do I junk the car and get a new to me car? All right. Carrie, do you trust your repair shop? That's the question I have. The reason I say that is hi there, Jonas. Thanks for popping in. Jonas, you don't have to be here. We appreciate the fact that you chose to pop in and tell us that, all right? So if there's anything that we can help you with that a lot on my mind right now, you let us know, all right? Kerry, but do you trust them? The reason I say that is, that I drive an old Jeep, but in good condition. And I keep asking every time something goes wrong, I keep saying, do I still keep it? You see, they know what the general condition of your car is. And if they are reputable people, they will say, something, Kerry, I'm looking at everything else in your car. I'd probably spend $2,000 to get something else. We've probably got one in the back here that we could, sell you for $2,000 because somebody didn't pay their bill, but it's in a lot better shape than yours. You see, that's, to me, is if you can trust them, they will tell you that truth. What I hear from mine, just to give you an idea, Kerry, when I go to my shop, they go, "Sal, whatever you do, don't sell this." And I'm going, "What?" They said, "Whatever you do, don't sell it. It's a tank. It's built like a tank. It's you've maintained it incredibly well all the time. So yes, a few things will wear out. It's a bit like you, Sal. A few things are going to wear out, but it doesn't mean that we need to junk you yet." Right? And I go, "Thank you for that analogy." You see, I want to know, is my car like me, just having a few things go wrong because of age, or is it terminal? In other words, this is the first of a multitude of things going to go wrong. Do you understand that, Kerry? No, it's not whether it's working well. It's when they look at your car, what do they see? Do they see it's going to continue to give problems? High cost problems, or do they think, and they won't guarantee it, but they'll give you, look, overall, Kerry, it's not a bad car. You're probably going to continue to spend $1,000 a year on repairs. Yes, Jodi's car was terminal. All right, now, if your gut is telling you that, or are other people telling you that, Kerry, that's what I want to know. And by the way, for the people watching this on the replay, Kerry is saying, I don't know enough about them to form an opinion one way or the other, but my gut says, don't trust the fix. I don't feel it's worth it. Yes, Alan's great comment is it a fractured leg or an amputation job, right? Yeah, is this the tip of the iceberg, if you like? So yes, that's a very good point. What if you don't know the shop well enough? There's one way to find out. All right? All right, it's your gut instinct. Well, if it's your gut instinct to replace it, then that's up to you to go with your gut or not. All right. That's nobody else can make that call for you. However, I would still ask the body shop. I mean, I would still ask the repair shop what their feeling is, just so you know you've made, Kerry, this is called an educated decision. And even if they say, look, we think it's worth keeping it, and you still, your gut feel still is to do this, do it. Okay, Glia, thank you so much for spending time with us. And tell your friends we're here. That's what I want to say. Tell your friends we're here. And Glia, keep watching the rebroadcast, because I'm sure we will continue. If ever you need any personal help, let us know. And if I can share it, let me know in what you write so I can keep. I am certain a lot of the viewers here today are going to want to be knowing how are you doing. All right. So send me a problem that's going on so I can use it as a case study. You see, I can help you without you being here. All right. But write anytime at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. Yeah, you see, Kerry, that's what I keep saying as well. My car is nearly 20 years old, but you know something? Big hugs to you, Leah. You get some sleep, honey. Kerry, my car is nearly 20 years old, but I don't spend. Now, it's also fairly low mileage for that. I think it's just done about 200,000 kilometers. I can't do the math on that. But somebody who's quick with Google, can you find out what 200,000 kilometers is in miles? I would think about probably 880,000 miles. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, so it's, I can't remember. Oh, 82,000. Yours is 82,000 miles. All right. So I want to tell you something, Kerry. 82,000 miles. Find out what that is in kilometers for me. Somebody. The reason I'm saying this is because that's what the shop knows. The shop knows whether 82,000 is on the high end of that sort of car, or is it, what my guy told me, Kerry, was, Sal, you might have done 200,000 K, but we got Jeeps of your model coming in that have done, half again and still going beautifully. All right. So I've done 124,000 K in my Jeep, Kerry, and they're still saying don't sell it because of the general condition of the car. It's easy to replace, and I haven't had to change the transmission yet. All right, Linda, you need some rest as well. Sleep well, honey. Thank you for being here. And Linda, thank you for giving people hope and telling them how your life has changed because of being here, because that helps other people know that they can do it. All right. It's not just, oh, well, there's obviously things that Sal can do, but nobody else can. So thank you, Linda. You are a shining example of what is possible, along with so many others. And Beth, I continue to shake my head at you because it's just like, wow. Okay, so Kerry, just know that you make an educated decision, all right? Linda, I probably have an idea. And I hear the thank you. And Linda, it's a person like you telling me what you just told me today that I think I already knew. I know I already knew. That keeps me doing it. Yes, Kerry, make an educated decision. Even though the shop said this, that, and the other, my gut still says replace it. Therefore, you won't be blaming the shop. Do you understand? Keep it. The reason I want you to make an educated decision is because you don't want to turn around later and say, well, the shop said I should keep it and I did, and look at all the trouble. It's still your decision, right? Hear them out, see what they say, and still make your own decision. My question to you all is, how many of you are grateful for this topic today? How many of you have found some value? How many of you needed to be reminded? So how about you thank Jodi? Because I see, because you understand, Jodi came up with a question of me, and what I had to do was bend my mind around the question and be able to turn it into what I hoped would be a meaningful broadcast. So keep asking me these questions, right? Keep asking me, keep giving me the ideas for broadcasts, because I might not do 100% what you ask, but I will think about, how do I turn that into a broadcast where it can be inclusive, that people can relate to it. And the one thing that was interesting, Jodi, and the thing I most want to thank you for, is I did not think I could get my mind bent around that in the time that I had available to me. So I wanted to make sure everybody understands that story. Jodi came up with this at what time last night, Jodi? Because I know she said, I didn't want to put my head on the pillow before I gave you at least one good suggestion for the broadcast. Is that a friend or what? Because she knew I'd been sick and I hadn't got a broadcast ready. I call that being a friend. It was after 11 p.m. your time or my time? Just so we can be real on this. And the interesting thing was that when she gave it to me, I said, you know something, that's a really great topic. Big hug to you, Carrie. That's a really great topic. I don't think I have enough time to bend my head around it. Yeah, she thinks it was 11 o'clock my time. I think you're right. You should have been asleep. Should. Guilt. So here I was. Do you understand what I said to Jodi? I don't think I have enough time to bend my mind around it. After Jodi went to bed, I played that through my mind again and went, what if I left out the I don't think? And I went, what? And I said, what if I changed that and left out the words, I don't think? Is it true that I don't have enough time to wrap my head around it? And then I remembered, listen to this one. I remembered something that Jodi had said to me earlier in the day privately when we were on a conversation. And one of the things she said, she is amazed at how quickly I can take a topic. Good night, Triana. How amazed how I can take a topic and write a broadcast for it. That she's just, and the other thing that she's always saying to me, she loves the thumbnails, all right, that I do. So it's like, and then I thought, you have a rare gift. Listen to how this changes your self-esteem. You have a rare gift, and your rare gift is to be able to work a broadcast around a base topic. So I can do this. It's, do I want to? Do you understand the difference, guys? It's not, I don't think I have enough time. It's like, do I want to make enough time? And obviously, when I heard it, I didn't want to make enough time to turn it into a broadcast immediately. I was going to hold it back and do it later when I had more time and was feeling better. And I think I was honest to Jodi. I know I was honest to Jodi because I said to her, let me see how I feel when I wake up tomorrow. In other words, I knew there was no way I was going to do it last night. But I wanted to know, what time did I wake up and was I feeling creative in my mind? And if I was, then I would do the work necessary to turn it into a broadcast. So, Jodi, you understand your little comment that you thought was a maybe comment actually turned out to be a lot of comments you had said that worked together to help me on this one. So big, big thank you. And the same thing, Jodi, and I'd like to give you that for your assignment as well, which is I wonder how many times you say to yourself, yes, I'd like to draw something, but I really don't feel well enough. The question I have, what if you change that and go, I am going to draw because maybe I will feel better if I do? Do you understand? Do it the other way around. I think that would help you a lot at the moment, Jodi. I'm doing the same thing, which is you don't have to pack a whole box. But if anybody, Jodi, if you guys ask me, what have you done towards packing up your house today? I want to be able to be accountable. So therefore, it's like I am not being accountable for moving out of here. Why? Because I haven't found the place that I want to move into, or I haven't got the right price for the place I want to move into, or what it is, the universe. And you know what Yvonne keeps telling me? Yvonne keeps telling me, don't worry. You're doing this at your speed, and it's the right speed for you, Sal. You taught me that a long time ago. And so this 2 hours it takes to get ready, how many people do you know can judge you on that? But look how many people in this room all agree it takes about 2 hours to get up, get dressed, and get moving in the day. All right, and Jodi is telling this truth. I did about 30 minutes of sketching and it changed my mindset. Duh. Jodi, that's why I need you to be on my case about packing stuff up. Because I need to change my mindset. And I need to do it for myself, but I need some support. Because then I will feel better. All right, everybody. So thank you for this. Jodi, most of all, thank you for this. People, please remember that this is not about you. It is about us. This is not about that you are alone. This is about, if you are human, you are dealing with this on a daily basis. And so I just want to make sure that all of you who may be listening to this or watching this on the rebroadcast, do you understand this is not that you're the only person out there that has this problem? That everybody you look at has this problem in their way. So what if you start getting real this week and say to people, I really want to be a friend. What do you need some support with? What is it you're procrastinating about that you would like me to help you be accountable for? Because you know from your experience the sort of things that people put off. What is difficult for you that you've been meaning to do and you haven't? Oh, awesome, Amy. When's your anniversary? For your birthday. When's your birthday, honey? And the other thing is, Jodi, don't ever believe that your input isn't of value. All right, that's what I want to make sure you understand. Okay. Amy's birthday, Jodi, August the 23rd. If I haven't got it in the system yet, I'm not sure. So just understand we are all learning. This is not about, oh, look at me, I've got it all right. I hope that every week I show you that I haven't got it all right, but I'm working on it. Because I believe that getting a little bit better is better than perfection. When I hear people say to me, "Oh, I don't need people anymore. I don't need any support," or I hear people say, "Well, I did this all on my own." I go, "Really? Interesting." My experience in life is none of us do it on our own. Whether we give other people credit or not is another thing, and it's part of character. Yeah, I agree, Kerry. Kerry's saying, I always need support. Yes, we all do. And by the way, the sort of support you need are from real people. People who, if they think you're talking through your teeth on this one, will hit you with a 2x4 and go, "Excuse me." And Jodi, I know that it makes you laugh sometimes and probably makes you cringe sometimes, but there are times when I will say to you, I don't need Jodi in this one, I need Kerry. And the reason that I say that is because Jodi will forgive me anything. And I love her for that. And as a friend, that is really important. But Kerry, Kerry may feel the same way, but she does it differently. She does not tolerate BS. And therefore, that's what makes her a great friend as well. So there are times when you need the Jodis of this world, and there are times when you need Kerry. Do you understand the difference, guys? And there are times when you need both on the same day. Or that's what I found. Because they are both equally valuable bits of information. No, I know you don't tolerate that, Kerry. That's why I'm saying to Kerry, just get the information you need. Okay, get the information you need, make your own decision. Don't blame anybody for what the decision is. This is okay. I got all the information that I think I needed. I still decided to go and buy a new car. That's my choice. You're clean. If the new car that you bought is a heap of you know what, you can at least go, it was my decision. Now let me make that decision again. You know what I mean? It's like, uh, it is really important for us to be aware that yeah, Amy. Amy's saying there are days that I need the cell 2x4 too. We all do, Amy. But there are also times when you need the Jodi unconditional love thing. All right? Or mine. There are days when your biggest problem, the reason you turn yourself into a pretzel is because you're too hard on yourself, Amy. And Beth will certainly relate to that. Had time for everybody except herself. Boy, when I think back to some of the stuff I've heard Beth say, it really brings tears to my eyes. And, Amy, I'm so glad you're here. Now, Amy, one question, because I keep forgetting to ask you, and I will keep on the broadcast longer just so I can fit it in. Amy, do you want to tell people why you are in a wheelchair? Because at least we've got some people left in the room, and then Jodi will make sure I remember earlier. But I want to make sure that I get this conversation started. Amy's saying that's why for her birthday, she's running away from home. Yes, you're going to go and do something for you. Well done. Kerry, we all need a 2x4 now and then, and we all need the unconditional love now and then, right? The trick is if you pick your right friends, if you pick real friends, as I have said, there are days when you will need, Jodi's input. There are days when you'll need Erin's. I'm going to type it. Hang on a second. Right. So that's what I was trying to find out is, can you tell us why you're in a wheelchair? And the reason I say that is because you said you willingly tell people if they're interested, and I know that I'm interested. Therefore, the chances are a few of my other viewers will be as well. How many of you didn't know that Amy was in a wheelchair? And it always amazes me how many of my viewers actually are in wheelchairs, and that's why I'm always interested in the reason. Yes, Amy, I know that, and I will do that. But let's start the conversation now. Yeah, Carrie. Um, okay, so here we go. The answer I'm getting from Amy is that she has spina bifida, and also she has had her right foot amputated. Okay, Amy. And so the reason I say that is because we have other viewers that will relate to that. And therefore, I am sure that they will want to leave a comment here if they have watched this and heard this and support you. But also, I would ask for the viewers who are watching this on the replay, if you have any questions for Amy, let's have them. You can write them to me or put them in the comments below, and so that she can answer them. Wow. Amy's saying she got what's called a raging infection, which is an infection that runs through her bloodstream. And I was 24 hours away from death, and they had to have that foot gone. Yes, that is horrible when that sort of infection. I've got a feeling if you ever get to see Lauren here, Amy, I have a feeling the reason that she ended up in hospital with it is because she was very close to that problem as well. See, Kerry has a cousin who has spina bifida. So what I want you to see, Amy, is that a lot of viewers relate. A lot of viewers, will have understand you at a different level now that they know that, and that's, to me, that's how you make good friends, because they actually know how to support you in a different way, because they are conscious of the fact they're not going to say, well, you need to go out for a run. All right. They understand now that you're in a wheelchair, and that limits what you can do. So this is important stuff. And that way as well, Amy, I have to tell you that we all learn. Those of us who are not in wheelchairs, we get to learn a lot more about those of you who are in them. And I think that makes the world a better place. Kerry, I'm never quite clear. Is Erin spina bifida or is she cerebral palsy? I for some reason, I've got that one mixed up in my mind. Yes, Amy. And Amy's saying, for those of you listening on the replay, it doesn't limit me, Sal. I just do things differently. And that is totally the attitude I get from so many people in wheelchairs. Right. So Erin has cerebral palsy. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that, we're talking different things here. So the thing is that none of these conditions limit us from doing absolutely nothing. We just do the things we can do differently. I found, Amy, I know this might sound really strange. I have found that getting older, whether I like it or not, limits, what I can do to some degree, but not to all degrees. I do use sometimes, and I use that as an excuse. And I just have to say that, because there are days when it's true of me. And there are days when I really appreciate having Jodi in my life because I realize that I really have been sick for a few days. Right? And right. And it's and she and Yvonne are really good about saying, you just stay where you are, stay in bed. Rest. Your body needs rest. Something's going on. I think I've had some sort of a virus. So the important part is be real, even if it means losing some friends, because the friends you will lose are not your friends anyway. They are people who, right, are just there for the moment. Be real because you deserve real people around you. You deserve people who will pull out a 2x4 now and then and say, "Excuse me." I look at my relationship, for example, with Marnie, and it's like, she constantly says to me, "Yeah, what do you think, Sal?" And I look at her and I go, "It's me you're asking that question to." And she goes, "Yeah, that's why I'm asking it." She said, I know all the people that are going to give me the trot out the politically correct answer." She said, I want to know what you think. I trust your judgment. I go, "Thank you. I think it sucks." And she goes, "Why?" And I'll tell her why I think it sucks. And I always end with, "But I could be wrong." And she'll say, "Really?" "Yeah, but I have been." "Yeah, but rarely." And I go, "Okay." So here we go, people. Thank you so much, Jodi, for the topic, and for all of you for participating. You see what makes this useful for all the people we don't know are going to watch this. That's the thing. We never know who's going to watch this. You will have helped so many. And for that, I am very, very, very grateful. So big hug to you all, and continue to remember to look after yourselves, look after other people, but most of all, please, let's start by looking after ourselves better, because that's what causes a lot of our problems. So a very big hug to you all. I'll be back at 7:00. Don't ask me what I'm going to be talking about. We will have to see when we get there. This is DearMamaSal going, have a wonderful day in the meantime. And this is DearMamaSal saying, thanks for your help, guys. Bye-bye for now.